So after, I guess, 65 years or so, it was decommissioned and became, entered back into the community, ostensibly still owned by the village. And, but the Silver Hooked Ladder, the way the charter is structured, and Union Company Number 1 still remain and are active to this day. And I saw a gentleman with the Union Company, engine company jacket. Funny story too, when we first did the closing and we came up and Cheryl and I were driving back and we were driving down the street, and from the back we walked by a person and his jacket said Sylvia Hooked Ladder Company, and we thought we were in the Twilight Zone because I didn't realize this part of the reality of it. So we're anxious to get our honorary membership to the Sylvias and get our jacket system. So in our restoration process, in a way, one of the first things I did was label it. And you'll notice this is over the front door because number one, we were proud of it, but I'll tell you the truth, for 10 years we were going back, because it's an old 48 56 touring car, so we would just use it in the hills, so it was no longer a good idea to use it going back and forth to the city, clearly. But so we would come up and we would go by the building to get to the stable in the back where we had the car, and we did we set up a little kind of enclave there for its escape, but it was not even registering that it was a firehouse. It could have, and they did a good job in the 50s restoration, and it looked like an old wood frame house in Greenwich. But then we found out from Arlene Boas, who was the owner, and did the first major restoration of it. But so we put the plaque up just so people would know what it was, and sort of putting a marker on it, and indicating that it was coming back and it was going to be more recognizable soon. We committed to it right away. We knew it was something special. We learned more and more just how much so, especially with the wagon and the pumper. And it's not the actual pumper. There's like Union engine number 2. Number 1 was damaged, but it's the same, I guess, pretty much model or style of pumper, even though it's not the actual one that was in our living room at the time. So in order to do this conversion, when it was decommissioned, the easiest thing, one of the things necessary to make it kind of into a neighborhood house, basically, was to those huge firehouse doors, as you saw in the earlier picture, were quite large. They had to go through. There's also this is also a great